everybody. I am so happy to see such a long gathering at our session fostering excellence, transformative practices towards ensuring quality in higher education. And do we have our session chair, Professor Furkan Kamar here, Secretary General? Yeah. Hello, sir. How are you? Professor Rajipati Rai, is he here? Professor Sunaina Singh, hello ma'am. Professor Sudhir K. Jain, Professor Gopal Chandra Mishra, Dr. Ellen Bhagat, hello sir. Dr. R.K. Mittal, Dr. S.B. Nimse, Dr. S.B. Nimse, Dr. Zaman, Mr. Akash Jain, Mr. Puneet Kumar. Mr. Puneet Kumar, are you here? And of course, Mr. Paresh Joshi. Okay, no, I'll have to call for them. Hello and welcome everybody. Now, we're not wasting any more time. I would just like to give a short intro for our session. With the rapid warming up of educational and technological links globally and the commendable rise in the institutional capacity, this session aims to look at some of the transformative practices and the ways and means for improving the quality of higher education in India. And our session chair is going to lead us through.
Morning to each one of you. Welcome you all to this two-day event and in this particular session on fostering excellence, transformative practices towards ensuring equality in education. I'm told, and as you are already aware, that there were not many speakers listed, out of which 6 people are present and they will be making their presentation. And the organizers are telling me that they have to take lunch break sharp at 1 o'clock. And because there is a ceremonial task before us for conferring the certificates to the participants and the speaker. So at this stage, I'll not be taking any time in introducing the topic except to say that the triple objective that we have been pursuing in our country, that was the objective of expansion, that we need to expand higher education to provide higher education opportunities to much larger proportion of population than we do now. By the latest estimate, I think that proportion is about 18 to 20% of the population in the relevant age group that is able to access higher education. People say that the critical threshold level is about 30 to 35%. OECD countries average is about 35%. We are suggesting that we need to expand our higher education. The second objective that the country has been pursuing, at least I think throughout the planning years, is about making higher education inclusive. Just one quick data that is the national average of participation today is about 20%. And if I do a quick survey of you all sitting here, and if I ask questions that what about your children? Have they been denied of the opportunity of higher education? I am very sure that you will all say that no, they have been able to receive higher education. The only compromise that you or your child may have made is that they cannot have got admission to that first preference university or to that first preference program of the study. But participation in higher education must be 100%. So for this cohort, participation rate is 100%. National average is about 20%. So who are the people who are not able to access? They are the poor, they are the Dalit, they are the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, marginalized communities, minorities. So we have to make our higher education inclusive to extend access to all. More importantly and most importantly, if we expand higher education and we include everyone, and if we do not provide quality higher education, then that higher education is of no purpose, serves no purpose. Now, perception about quality and the definition about quality, perception about excellence, definition of the excellence. I mean, I find that many different people have many different notions about what does quality constitute. For example, quite often in India, the moment you start talking about excellence and quality, people say that you should also include parameters like inclusion, how diverse you are, how diverse are your parameters. Global parameters take diversity in a different sense. So I think these are very, very important issues. And I'm happy to know that such an excellent panel is here, which will be interacting with you. Only the time is constraints. I would request that if each one of you could take about 7 to 8 minutes so that we finish in about 50-55 minutes time, leaving a little time for some question answers and then for winding up. So to begin the session, I invite Dr. Akshay Agrawal, who is Vice Chancellor, Gujarat Technological University. Dr. Akshay Agrawal.
I'm going to talk to you about an area which we have just taken up in the university 2 years back. We started looking at the idea of values and character of our students. And therefore, we developed a course based upon something which State Bank of India had done for all its employees for developing their own corporate managers and all that. We modified that particular course with the help of Srinivas. And what he had done was he had developed the course initially, and then we redeveloped based upon what had been done for our students. We have offered it now for 2 years to about 100,000 students every year, and we think it has made a difference. So let Srinivas talk about it in more detail.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to share what has happened in Gujarat Technological University. So the program that we are talking about is called the Contributor Personality Development Program. Before I start out on that, let me just give a brief background about the events and the background and how it led to this. Dr. Akshay Agarwal had a vision that he needed to build in values and character in his students. And since we had done work with State Bank of India for about 2 lakh people, incidentally we are also working with, we are also doing a pilot on value education in schools. The pilot is for 1,000 schools in Delhi. And so since we have been doing work in that area on an extensive basis, we came together to look at how we could apply that thinking into Gujarat. And what has come, and what was very interesting was that the first thing was the names of the participants. One was obviously Gujarat Technological University and the group which was building the program. But the third participant in the whole thing was the Arani group, who funded the entire effort involved in providing the support. And so one of the most innovative aspects of this program was how we brought in industry also to support the development of radical new initiatives in education. Now, let me quickly walk you through the program as such. The first thing for us was that we saw that while you're talking about values, you need to connect it into the lives of students, which means that you need to connect it and inspire students that their careers can be different, that they can actually make a contribution out of their career and not merely an acquisitive kind of career which is self-serving. So that shift in vision was at the core of the entire program. Because without that shift in vision, we are not going to create a next generation of students who will take the competence or the skills that we impart into them and translate it into nation building. So that is the first important point about the program, which is the goal: creating contributors for both a wider and more fulfilling personal career and for nation building. The second thing that, as you can see, is the fact that it is a partnership with several stakeholders. Gujarat Technological University, led the initiative for Gujarat. They mandated the program with a 4-credit course for students. They conduct the examinations, etc. We also got in the faculty from various colleges across Gujarat who put in the effort of delivering the program in the respective colleges. So they were the other stakeholders. The more than about 1,000 teachers have been trained over the past few years. Third is the educational, which is our team who are interested in building, in nation building through education. So we came in from there. And there was corporate CSR funding. So all the 4 stakeholders can come together in order to bring about change. And this is a model that is replicable in several programs and in several areas of innovation. The next and perhaps the most important part of the program is when you are trying to build in something like this, which is you're trying to get teachers across 350 colleges across Gujarat to deliver say, value education or a new way of thinking, how do you get them to start changing themselves first? How do you get them to start adopting a completely new curriculum? Because if it's a traditional curriculum, there is an entire educational model which is available for training them. But how do you do it with hundreds or thousands of teachers across a state? So that's where we brought in 3 sets of inputs, and that kind of made the program fairly different. One is obviously that there was a curriculum and there was a textbook that was created for the program, a 200-page textbook which is available in store. But besides that, we brought in what is called an online active guide kind of model. So we supported students with an e-learning framework which allowed them to explore the subject. Along with that, there was an entire comprehensive capacity building model for the faculty, which included a 2-day foundational workshop, mid-semester workshop for those who are interested. There were remedial sessions to improve performance in the program and ongoing performance support. So one of the important things in such programs is that you need to provide repeated training in order to help teachers really learn and grasp the whole process. The second thing is that they need in-class support. So one of the other things that we need to do if you want to scale such programs in a university is that you need to provide teachers with process guides so that they know what is to be done in every session. Now this is the kind of thing which is not normally done in other subjects, but it is necessary if you want to introduce an innovative subject and you want people to get it. The third thing that you need along with it is some kind of active engagement with the teachers to keep their energy. You see, you're asking for transformation of students. If you're asking for transformation of students, inspiring them, then the teachers themselves need to be inspired. You need to have Facebook groups, you need to have ongoing support classrooms, email newsletters. So one of the things is now for all this, it's an expensive proposition. You need to provide all that support to teachers in order to upgrade them. But that expensive proposition is where you bring in corporate CSR funding, which is available in order to make this whole thing come together. And then obviously you also have a systematic example. Another important thought which we needed to do in this entire process was what you might call enabling audits. That means you don't measure in order to tell people or to tell colleges how badly they're doing or how much they need, but more in terms of the specific areas of improvement so that the colleges are able to improve and climb up to the level which the university wants in order to achieve its educational outcome. Now, once you keep all this in mind, then the whole question is how do you rapidly implement such programs? If you are launching a program like this and you want to implement it across a university, you need to do it at high speeds over a 3-4 month period, which was one of the other aspects of the whole program. I would have got into details, but we don't have time given the short period of time available, which is why we did. This in quick gives you the quantitative impact of the program. It has been rolled out in 334 colleges. More than 2 lakh students across Gujarat Technological University have received it. And the program, over 800 faculty have been trained, and 100% audits and improvements have been provided to all colleges who have gone through the program so that everybody can go through the improvement. So this is the quantitative impact. The qualitative impact is this. The goal is to produce contributors and not just employment seekers. If a university is producing contributors for industry, placement improves, student quality improves, motivation improves. And for that, the Indian Institute of Teacher Education in Gandhinagar did an independent study which was carried out across the students, and they found it to be effective, and they found that more than 81% of the students found that it helped them know themselves better, and 88% students found that it could help them identify what are the success factors that are needed in order to improve their attitudes and change their entire program. And 84% could see why they needed to be contributors and why it is not enough to just go and get a job. It is important to make a difference and how they can use their education to make a difference. So this is an independent study that was done in Gujarat in order to demonstrate the effectiveness of the program. So this is, for example, some quick key learnings for other universities It's important to get multiple stakeholders in a university on board, teachers, students, placement officers in colleges, everybody on board if we want to bring in a change. You need to spend enormous energy motivating faculty to adopt any new subject. We need to communicate the value of the program to students. It's not enough to introduce it into the course. It's important that students buy into the program so that they believe that the program is valuable to them. You need an examination board that helps students not just evaluate, but they feel that they have to take the program seriously, not for exam's sake, but for their own sake. And that is also important. And finally, we need to enable colleges so that they can improve over a period of 2-3 years. When you do all these things together, then you are likely to have a successful introduction of a program like this at a level of a university like Gujarat Technological University, which is statewide and which reaches out to lakhs of students. I think this quickly kind of presents what we're trying to do. And I'd like to...
We know that this program requires transformation. It does require only conveying of skills. So therefore, we know that the classroom has got to be a live classroom. It cannot be a passive classroom where only the information is being transferred. So there is a continuous effort for improvement. Last year, we asked IIT to do an evaluation. This year now, we have trained a group of star teachers who are doing the job very well. And we are trying to see that they are able to do bootstrapping to help improve the system continuously. A new website has been created and continuous improvement is being sought. I will not take more of your time. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you. I feel sad in monitoring the time, but we have to get that there are 6 other speakers, so we have to distribute the time differently. I hope that this initiative will improve the employability of the engineering graduates, which has been one of the major concerns for the country. Now, can I invite Dr. Paresh Joshi, who is Academic Director at Station E. And 4 more speakers have been added, so time has been reduced by
I'll try not to. I'll take it very seriously. Well, morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Joshi. It is really exciting to put our ideas across this August gathering full of academics and people who have taken policy. I will briefly try and talk about skills development for fostering excellence in higher education. As I said, I represent Station E Language Laboratory in our small little way, in our humble effort to bring this skill development in the mainstream of education. We've been doing our bit, and I'll quickly get through. Well, I mean, India growth story is known to all of us. And if we want to sustain this story and subsequently, accelerate this growth, higher education will have to play a significant role. I mean, no, each one of us are aware of this. But if higher education wants to contribute to the economic growth of this country, it will have to go through a 360-degree change. There's no doubt about it. Our higher education at the moment is too focused to core subjects, core skills, and skills remain in the margin. I think the first thing that we have realized is we need to integrate skill development in the mainstream education. And in our own, humble way, we have been integrating this skill development into the mainstream education. We've done it across 10 states. And we have as many as 25 institutions where we have established the Skills Development Center. And therefore we call it the Station E Skill Development Center as a one-stop solution for skill development in the entire spectrum of education. These 25 skills development centers include IIT, include ITIs, include universities, include colleges and schools. So we have, in our own way, as I said, tried to integrate the skills development in the mainstream of education across the spectrum, from school to IIT, and we are in fact interacting with few NITs, I would say. Interestingly, again, unknown fact, but very relevant here, service sector contributes highest to our GDP. And when we look at graduates coming out of higher education, they form the major workforce within this service sector. A quick statistics that I'm trying to put here, by 2030, if the employment distribution pattern of the country remains same, according to an estimate, we would need 177 million people within this sector. As I said, time is a constraint, so I'll be dealing with points in the highlights. All these means that we'll all have to sit down and think of, bringing skills development, especially the soft skills and life skills, along with the core skills in the mainstream of education. Sir referred to this higher education enrollment ratio close to 70, but within these 70% people who go to higher education, and when they come out, what is very shocking is close to 15% of them are readily employable. Now, one of the major problems that stand in the way of their employment is the soft skills and life skills. Many of them are poor in their communication skills and the other skills that largely come under the umbrella of soft skills and life skills. The need for skill development has been realized, has been spoken about within the policies, within the planning of higher education. But nothing significant has been done. Yes, we have efforts from NSDC, NCDC, and all of us are aware how these organizations have started seriously working on the skills development. Integrating skills development would mean, these skill development courses should be offered as add-on. We also proposing that, it should somehow have a linkage with the curriculum. It cannot just remain as something add-on, but if we can bring out some, methods, some mechanism within which we can somehow link this skill development to the curriculum delivery on the campus, it would have a better and bigger impact, I believe. I would go to what can we do? I mean, what we have done with the universities and schools and colleges where we have established the skills development center is, the skills development center can be established at colleges and university campuses to cater to the need of the employability skills. We have put our trust on the soft skills and life skills especially, and the skill development would focus as the holistic skill training. This is what we are doing at the moment. As many as 30 centers across the country are working. We've trained more than 10,000 students, and we've seen that they have transformed themselves into an employable lot, and their employability has improved. Thank you very much. I think I have taken the command by the chairman seriously. Thank you very much.
Very good afternoon to all of you. I think I am not suitable to speak on this podium because many of the dignitaries are very much experienced than me. But I would just like to say that you can teach a student a lesson per day, But if you can teach him to learn by creating curiosity, he will continue the learning process as long as he will. We at Mahindra always focus on creating such students or creating such an environment for students that they feel involved in the teaching. With over 100 plus centers across India, we impart competitive examination coaching for them, for banking and SSC. The topic for the day, fostering excellence, transformative practices towards ensuring quality in higher education. Transformation in education can be done only on two aspects, for the students and for the organization. What does the student need? Tell me and I'll forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will remember. Learning experience is changing rapidly for students. They are not now demanding only the course materials, but they are demanding what all they can get extra, like Sir said about the skills, soft skills and life skills. They do not have a linear approach. They want a holistic program that may improve their personality and that may increase their chances to excel in their competitive examinations. Significance of the total learning is changing in academics, by virtual, by support, and in Mahindra we do that. We are in process of now digitalizing our classrooms pan-India. That is, we are trying to put projectors and online classes across 600 classrooms in India for our students. We have got our online speed test portal, which is catering the needs of about 4 lakh students for preparation of online speed test. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. For organizations, transformation can only be done by looking on the following prospects: the strategy, the policy making, and the integrative practices that organization may practice. For strategy, the vision of our Managing Director, Mr. Naveen Kumar Jain, is such that since 20 years of inception, we have not increased our fees at least a rupee also. The fees of Mahindra is at what it was 20 years back. Key areas that are to be covered our organization are changing profile of aspirants, redesigning of learning support, engaging aspirants by reshaping learning environments, integration of physical and virtual environments, engagement in widening participation. The future projections of Mahindra is to expand our branches to 200 plus by year 2015. Online classrooms pan-India by the end of August 2014. Tablet facility for every student of Mahindra when they enroll with us by 2015. Speed test facility for their students on their mobiles. E-books, study materials on internet by December 2015. Thank you.
So, but keeping in mind that Mrs. Sunena Singh comes from English and Foreign Language University and she is presently Vice Chancellor of that university, I think that university is in a sense a conventional university dealing with language teaching, is a huge university. I think she will be sharing some of the different kind of perspectives. So, Mrs. Sunena Singh.
Very good morning and thank you, Professor Pakarkar. Well, what I'm going to do in the brief span of time given to us is to toss some ideas to look at how the leaders of education or educational leaders need to take education forward in India. And I'm just going to talk about that and not focus on my university. Not that my university does not need any brand strategies. Of course, we have those in place. but I'm going to focus on leadership and what leadership should, what kind of leadership that we need to provide. In order to foster excellence and to keep in mind the educational assurance aspect, I think it's very important for us to remember what Benjamin Franklin had to say long ago, and he said, without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. I think this is very important, and we need to look at continual growth and progress in diverse ways. And how would I look at it? I was just trying to think about various ways, and Harvard University is a great example in front of us. This does not require any kind of focusing on promoting itself. Nevertheless, the latest research on Harvard shows that Harvard is trying to revamp in a big way its syllabus, its courses. Why does it need to do when it already has an international reputation? Is something that we all need to focus on, we all need to think about, because it's updating its academic offerings to reflect the changing world. I think that is very important, how globalization demands that we look at education in a different way. Now, apart from academic auditing or periodic assessment of our subjects and the areas of teaching, I think it's also important, keeping in mind globalization, that our universities focus on presenting fresh avenues of pedagogy. Now, institutions must be accountable where non-traditional students are concerned. I think that's another thing. As the time passes, we find that our students do come from non-traditional backgrounds, perhaps an aging student population, be more online and distance learning. C, I would say, broader spectrum of student needs that we need to keep in mind. Now, universities must manage these changes successfully to strengthen their brand positioning in the country. I think this is very important. But apart from this, I also thought there are two more points that we need to keep in mind, and that is transparency and accountability. Because I think both these qualities in any university are, expectations which are necessary since we are public institutions, we cater to public requirements. So therefore, when we look at universities in the paradigm of growth and success and progress, I think it's important to measure what is meaningful for all of us as education leaders, rather than give meaning to what we measure. We should not be doing that. But keeping this in mind, I would also have some ideas, pointers that we can do. And what we can do is a careful and critical review of our approaches to research, teaching, and social engagement. I think this is very important to me. And also, this needs to be done with a shared vision of the institution or the university. And as the leaders in the education realm, I think it's very important to have well-defined objectives, set indicators, and benchmark for academic growth. We also need to be strongly engaged with our academic community outside our institutions. I think this is a forum that provides a platform for that kind of an engagement. And also, perhaps, we need to look at our student community. Are they competing globally? Are they prepared to compete globally? Are there any international fellowships that we put on our website? I must share here that my university, we do put up the proposals. Gates Cambridge Scholarship this year has gone. The only Indian student to get this scholarship is from my university. Past 3 years, we've had consecutive scholarships on Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Now that again an international scholarship to study in Europe, as well as Fulbright scholarships. I think it's very important that our students are sent abroad. The attainment of international recognition will go a long way for the institution. So that should also be one of the mandates of any institution, because we are not really looking at the job market. job market will happen automatically if we focus on quality through progress and development of our core areas, core strength areas. The other thing is, I thought, is that we need to have national and international collaborations, not just international but national as well. You know, in our quest for international collaborations, we forget to collaborate with our national partners, and I don't think we should do that. We should start with the national and move in the other direction too. That's very important. Now for that, I think it's important to have a robust monitoring mechanism within the institution, as also the evaluation pattern, because if that is not done on a global patterning system, then we become too restrictive in our national paradigms. So the need to go beyond, I think, being institutions which transfer knowledge to production, institutions that produce knowledge producing institutions. I thought it's very important that Indian institutions think beyond just dispensing or disseminating knowledge and become a prime locus of bold, innovative and creative knowledge production. Now, how do we go about it is something for institutions to think about. That's where the shared mission and vision need to be brought in. Some of the areas that we need to build on, of course, private universities do not have much problem, but public institutions do. And that is to provide top-class infrastructure. I think this is the core. It must begin with there, not end there though. Because we need to have, institutions should also be known by its postdoctoral fellows. Do we have any postdoctoral fellows coming from abroad or within the nation, from top institutions to teach there? So you can say that this year we have 5 postdoctoral fellows from so and so university. I think that's very important, and one needs to move in that direction. The third point I would say is initiate academic auditing. A periodic auditing of our courses is very, very important. Because as you try to bring in innovation into teaching, I think it's important to assess what we are doing, whether that still continues to be relevant. The next point I would say is nurture national and global collaborations to produce groundbreaking research. I think institutions do not focus that much on research. I think we need to be both teaching and research oriented universities. I think that's very important to me. As a Vice Chancellor of a university, I'm sure that's also important to others. The last point that I have, these are the indicators, the markers that will ensure growth and progress, or quality assurance, I thought, to benchmark with the top universities in Asia and the world. Who can we benchmark with? I think that's very important. Rather than being part of your own institutional prestige, I think we need to move beyond. Now the aim, therefore, should be to create an environment that is conducive to elevating the standards of teaching and the impact of research. Now that being the core of everything, I think one of my colleagues spoke about values, and I cannot help but mention the anthropologist. And I always say that all academic leaders would concur, would agree with the anthropologist Pierre de Marais when he says, and I quote, "Universities have a lot to lose in public opinion if they lose their values," unquote. I think values indeed must be the foundation of universities, and the commitment to scholarship with values, you know, should be the core, should be the mantra according to me. Thank you for giving this opportunity to me. I was just tossing some ideas. I hope they have been useful. I hope we can sit and mull on that or discuss on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Surana Singh, for your expose and emphasizing on the values and the larger objectives of higher education. May I now invite Mr. Amit Maheshwari? I believe He's there. He's the CMD or co-founder in Partners Innovation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amit Mansaria. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to present a brief idea about what we do and how this can benefit the education sector. In fact, fostering excellence is a large area. The earlier speakers have talked about infrastructure, teacher quality, student attitude, and lot many other things in other sessions also. I'll just focus on a very small area within technology, how videos can drive excellence, how videos can benefit new age teaching. First, I like to focus, unlike other sectors, any other sector that we see, banking, retail, healthcare, technology is not penetrated in education sector. If you see, the only technology in higher education especially is the overhead projector that has come. Otherwise, teachers are teaching the same way, students are learning the same way. But in the past 5 years, lot of trends are emerging. I'll not go deep into all the trends, but I'll take a couple of pieces together and walk. What are the major challenges? The two challenges that I've identified, I've ignored others like infrastructure and other things, are majority of the students in a college are unable to absorb a significant portion of what is taught in the class. Some stats, some research says it's as low as 40%. If a teacher is teaching something, students are absorbing only 40%. What is the point of burdening students with a lot of extra content if they are not absorbing what is being taught correctly? Rather think of some mechanisms, some ways to increase that absorption percent. Second biggest challenge is lack of effective mechanism for teacher improvement. Right now, teachers are teaching in the class, going back. At the end of the semester, there's some feedback form that's there. The teachers really do not have any self-improvement or improvement methods. What the challenge is, to overcome these challenges, the need is to take learning beyond classroom. If there's a 45 minutes or 1 hour classroom and the student is absorbing less, the teacher does not have a method, how do we overcome these challenges? How do we ensure that the learning happens outside of the classroom also? I'll talk about one of the concepts that our company is doing and how that's overcoming this challenge. I'll be brief about this. The core of the concept is lecture capture. When I talk about lecture capture, what I mean is if a class is happening, a live class where it's being attended by students, let's say engineering college class or a B-school class, the whole scenario, the whole lecture that the teacher is delivering, including interaction with students, including the PowerPoint presentation, whiteboard, everything, the entire experience is recorded. That recorded session, if that is made available outside of classroom, it can benefit the students, it can benefit the teachers for self-improvement. There are a whole host of other things. I'll skip them in the interest of paucity of time, but I'll slightly focus more on lecture capture. In fact, once the videos are recorded, the whole classroom experience is recorded, whatever the teacher is teaching inside the classroom. Multitude of things, many things can be done with these videos. Two popular technologies which globally most of the leading colleges are adopting. In fact, in US, the technology adoption in lecture capture is very high. In India also it has come, lot many leading colleges are adopting. First is live lecture capture, which is availability immediately after the class has over. These lectures are available to all the participants of the class, as well as in a live streaming mode in other campuses also. Second very innovative concept is flipped classroom. You all must have heard about it, how a faculty can record the lectures before the start of the class and ensures that the student watch these lectures before coming to the class. So that inside the classroom, more of activities happen. The students have watched the lecture. Lecture is just a one-way delivery. They've watched the lecture and more of activities are happening inside the classroom. In both these technologies, as I am mentioning, the teacher is more important. The faculty is more important. The faculty has to ensure that the lectures are proper, the flipped classroom concept is successful. Very brief about our team. In fact, this was founded 3 years back by myself, Alok, Manish. All of us are from either technology background or education background. Our vision is how do we bring videos into mainstream learning, how videos would benefit the quality delivery of education in the education sector. very brief, I'll not talk about how much we have a stall in the exhibition area. You can come and visit, they'll show you the features, etc. Not many leading institutes are using, including IIM Bangalore, PS University, Anna University. Thanks a lot.
We are into educational and technology solutions for government bodies, universities, state governments, countries, and we primarily focus on game technology implementation is our topic today here. But we are going to talk about a slightly different perspective of technology implementation, a practical point of view, because we are working in India since last 8 years and in Africa and certain developing nations. We find that technology implementation is altogether different thing than what we talk on papers, what we give on slides. So I'll just share my experiences and I'll show you some points which we have about technology implementation in education law. Fostering excellence in higher education. I'll be focusing on technology for management of academic institutions and integrating things like what we heard in the last lecture, like Blue Book or any other thing. If you want to implement, you will need a platform where you can integrate and use it for effective management. So that's what I'm going to talk about in my presentation today. I'll start with the current scenario, what we have, which you all as an academician must be knowing. Technology is very much required. We hear in all the presentations, in seminars today, but why? My one big question is, I'm still surviving without technology. I have my college, I have my institutions, and you might be having your institutions. You're all happy, we have people to work, but still everybody talks about technology, and it's happening everywhere. Primarily because when Britishers left 50 years ago, there were universities which had less number of students, less staff. But today I go to universities and I'm handling universities which are having more than 5 lakh students. Almost state government universities are having more than lakh students. Even private colleges are having good number of students. So managing those students and delivering a quality platform is becoming a major issue. We have more than 600 universities, we have more than 30,000 colleges, we have got around 150 million potential students in India right now, and all those are going to enter in your college or my college or somebody else's college. So are we going to continue with the same old method that come give me the form and I'll collect your form, you'll come and give me DD, I'll give my DD. I think we should have a different perspective now. We are living in this century where technology has developed, and we should try to understand how we can do it in the minimal possibility. Okay, fine, I don't have hundreds of billions of rupees, but still, with some minor things, we can change the whole scenario in our academic institutions by simple things. And that is the need of the technology implementation in India, because numbers are growing and managing is becoming difficult and difficult every day. The student is demanding. He is demanding for a lot of things. He doesn't want to stand on line to pay his fees. He doesn't want to roam around for collecting some documents, lectures. So he is demanding, and so he's ready to pay, but there's no delivery mechanism in most of the academic institutions because we are still following the traditional methods. I think if I'll focus my attention more on the integration of technology through an ERP in a university and why it's required and why we are not able to do it. Because in 600 universities in India, we were sitting with MHRD and we were doing the survey report. Not even 10% have, not even 5% have implemented ERP. 30,000 colleges in the country, not even 5% have. So what is the problem? Are we not having money? Are we not having some resources? Don't we understand? But yes, still that we are not able to do it. Why? Because there are certain problems, certain issues which we are going to talk about and how we can overcome them. Primarily, we all know what ERPs are. We integrate and we automate admission systems, academic systems, delivery. We use new technologies like Bluetooth. We use some other technologies for delivering content, video lectures, etc. But how we integrate all those things into a platform where all my people use it in a very effective manner. That is what we think an ERP is all about. It covers most of the departments and your clientele like students, your staff members, your teachers, your non-teaching staff, which is mostly aware of this and is mostly complaining. So ERP can help in creating transparencies, in trying to increase your efficiency. It will reduce the redundancy time. I went to universities and students have to wait for months and weeks to collect a duplicate copy of their some mark sheet. For migration certificate, they have to wait months. I went to universities in India where for 1 year they have to wait for their registration card. He has taken admission last year and in his third year he doesn't have the registration card because the procedures are so manual. They have got 2 lakh students, and how can they handle? And when you go to the, I'm primarily talking about state universities. When you go to them, they have their own reasoning because they can't just change the system overnight. I'm working with Maharishi Jain University, with JNU, I'm working with Guwahati University, I'm working with Punjab University, I'm working with government of Uganda universities, I'm working with Ethiopian universities. Majority of them have the same issues. Boss, we can't change the system overnight. You give me an ERP which is according to me. It has the same problems which I have, but I don't want to change. That is why in India, SAP, PeopleSoft, Oracle, they have a tough problem. Because here the things are topsy-turvy. My non-teaching staff is absolutely different. They cannot understand SAP. Forget about working on a computer. So they want a system. We have these manual processes. Do you have a system which can convert this manual system into a electronic system? Oh, then we'll do it. Everything should be same. The same voucher booklet, same format should be same. Forget about technology. If you want technology, just do this. So what I mean to say is, even doing that should be an effort if we can do it. And that should be your approach. Because the problems, whenever we talk about, there's the money. Where is the money? Where are the people who are going to use it? My people, they don't know computer, can teach my teaching, non-teaching staff. He's a clerk of 50 years old. He can't work on a computer board. So forget about an ERP. I don't have computer. I have to take sanction from my HRD secretary or somebody. My vice chancellor, the boss, he can't just do it. In private universities, the chancellors, you have to ask for everything from the chancellor. In government university, the fund is a major problem. Who is going to handle after this technology is going to be implemented? Even a simple mobile, when all of you are using mobile, you have to call centers, boss, my mobile has this problem, that problem. And if I am going to implement the ERP or technology in my university, it will be a chaos. Who will handle, who will deal? My registrar is not competent enough. My COE is not competent enough to deal with so much of technology issues in the university. So these are our practical problems. And people, American companies, they come and they say implement this, implement that. They don't know what are the ground realities in countries like us. These are the problems which we face. So when we were thinking, last 8 years we are into this field, and we are closely integrated with MHRD. So we started working on a reverse point for everybody. Let's say, boss, you don't have money. Okay, I'll give you money for ERP implementation. I'll start from here. How about if my organization gets you fund for ERP implementation? Then we talk about how about if we give you manpower so that for the first 3 years, that manpower takes care of the deployment and then it hands it over in a gradual phase to your people. How about that? How about you forget about servers, data center, etc. My organization will take care of them to give you everything. How about if I don't charge you for that? Isn't it lovely? So we are working on a solution, and I'll show you that we have been able to, with the help of government, with the help of international funding agencies, we have been able to work on a system like that, where we help you get funds to do that, and where we don't charge you, and where we try to recover the cost by some other models which are there. We primarily work in 3 areas. The very first start from counseling, which most of you might be doing. We do counseling for BA, for engineering, completely automated counseling, which very few states have. We know online counseling, but that is partially online. When online means that a student doesn't have to go from his home and everything from payment to his admission gets on his mobile. So we take care of admissions modules in various academic bodies like state boards, like universities. We give integrated ERP called EGONEV. On behalf of that, I am here today in this presentation. And we also help the university start an online education department. Most of you want to start some e-learning, but there are not available resources. So we help universities how to establish an e-learning department like a faculty of management, faculty of etc. etc. We help universities start up faculty. And obviously we have got also some of them I'll just skip whatever modules because most of you must have seen presentations like talking about what all these are there. But yes, the ERP we are talking about is available on mobile, in laptop, on computers. That is very well integrated and before I'll show you a video clip talking about what we are there. But I'd like to tell you the ERP which I'm talking about, we have integrated our systems with Ministry of HRD in India. And with Ministry of HRD, we are implementing these ERPs and technology solutions. And the funding is given by Ministry of HRD for that implementation. We go to the universities and we do the system study first without anything. That's an initiative by MHRD. We go to you, prepare a technology report for you so that to begin up, you should know what to do because everybody is saying everything. For your specific location, like in Bihar, in Guwahati, in Assam, we're doing in Assam, we did a survey. So you have to slightly prepare a roadmap for yourself after you go from here, whether you do it yourself or whether you call us or whether you call anybody. Just start with a roadmap for technology implementation and then move on. It's time when all the leaders should start technology in their organization. And just wrap up with a slide. 2 minutes video of what I have been sent by the GUNF, so I have to show presentation. It's about how we are talking technology where or as a service model, if you can understand that you don't need to buy anything, don't need to pay anything, just use it and see that it is effectively implemented, and if it is effectively implemented, then get the money from the central government or from the users and they work out a model so that it
organized growth in the education sector, which in the last 5 to 10 years have been growing at a very rapid pace. NASA communication is at universities, state boards, education bodies, and the new technologies which have emerged and helping these organizations to become more efficient. NASA has last 5 years worked into this line, developed its own internal protocols, internal software, internal ERP, and we have our research and development division which has started on cloud education for the first time in this country. It workforce of around 350 people who are dedicated to working into this line. We have best-in-class people for solution building, the architectural design, and we have experts who have domain knowledge about the education industry. We are an education and e-governance company. We have been quite successful in that and growing at the rate of more than 100%. In the e-governance sector, we are providing our in-house ERP, which has been developed after research of 8 to 10 years. That ERP we are deploying across universities, state boards, colleges, private colleges, from admission to degree, and for their administrative functions, it could be placements, it could be any activity related to IT. We provide all kinds of solutions. Plus our network solutions division, which take care of fiber optic deployment, creating Wi-Fi campuses, creating data centers, and connecting the IT hardware and the software, and giving a complete administrative solution. This division of ours is called DigiUNF. Recently, we have moved on cloud computing. You can say we take care of the entire distance education management. If you're here, you can give education anywhere, and we do a lot of projects through which we deploy computer education in the secondary and primary schools. That is called ICT project in schools. And now we're going international to a lot of countries like Singapore, African countries, even SAARC nations we are branching out because we've got a lot of demand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Puneet. Can I now request Mr. Rafiqul Zaman, who is Vice Chancellor, Assam University of Cooperative Management.
I will just tell you a few things for this. First of all, I fully agree for the technology intervention in education. But this intervention has to be targeted. So targeting people. Now, not only for the faculty, but look at the scenario of the whole country, the students. As for example, if you go to any state in any region, you will find that a large number of students, the whole education system has been highly skewed towards one stream, that is arts. So if you go to a college, I have found, and I was also the secondary higher education, a large number of students, in all of the country, you get hardly 100 students taking science education. And just left among the commerce students, large number in art. Our focus is mainly on the art, the science students, and hardly few of them will go for that. This is a what's called honors course. They take 6 days. The large percentage is going this, but taking part in the art stream is very, very important. And we normally forget that. But some skewing in the system is always acceptable. But it's a highly skewed system we're trying. So let us look around. What is this? If you think of higher innovation in the higher education, linked to the secondary education, even in the primary education, students who are weak in the mathematics, and therefore they are thrown out into the arts stream, and then you forget about them. So let us do something. Right from the innovation in the higher education is linked to the innovations at the ground level. Then only you can prosper. Think about the country. Now this is a very, very important scenario that I want to say. Now what happens to the students who are actually doing the say science streams? Most of the students at 10+2, they go to the, say after graduation, they go to the IIMs or they to the IITs. These students, I talk in terms of the percentile. Say the students who are more than 95 percentile to 100 percentile, you find it in the best institutions of the branded one. Even the private universities and other government institutions, they are dealing with the students who are below that. Most of them, say you can say the 70 to 80 percentile students are there. Now, if you focus more on those 95 to 100 percentile students, then you forget about it. Out of these 95 to 100 percentile, most of them they leave the country. They never come back. You give all the facilities, most of them will not return to your country. But this country is a populous country. Next to China, will have to be comfortable with the students who are just above 70 percentile. So our intervention, our innovations should be focused to those students who are just at least 70 to 90 percentile. So during the course of interventions, we'll lift them up by another 10% because these are the students who are likely to stay in our country. That is definite. So this is a very, very important. Therefore, because this our university is having a link with this IIM Ahmedabad being the mentor, I always argue with the professors of IIM and I tell you that you are doing nothing. because you are getting the 99% of students and you teach students, you are not teaching anything. Because whatever you teach, they learn, they know. But for others, there is a tremendous awful task to teach, to bring them up. So your job is actually cut out. So therefore, let us focus on the students who are below, who are just near 70 to 80 percentile. So these students will stay. Now, this is very, very important scenario. Therefore, you will have to say, suppose you go to a classroom. Now, if you're in a classroom, because our main stakeholders are the students. So these classrooms can be divided into 3 groups. You will always find some of the best students in the class. The second is the next layer, who are mediocre level. And the third group, they are, you can say, disabled or differently able. These 3 groups. So your intervention, your innovations should be targeted accordingly. Now, if you give a gadget, if you give any interventions, the top groups will always pick up. In my university, we have started only undergraduate. Students come to me, they say, sir, teacher teaches, but we are unable to pick up. Even the IT programs, some students pick up very fast, very quickly, but my below students, they say, sir, we want a teacher who can take pain in teaching us. Therefore, all interventions, all innovations should be targeted, keeping the classroom in mind and the type of target groups available here. And then next is the question is the faculty. Faculty improvement. You see, what we can do for the faculty? There are 2 systems. Send them for training. They will come back after 7 days, 8 days, 1 month training. But that is quite costly. But it's better that you develop a system of faculty improvement programs to bring down the faculties. Try to share your experience, how best you can give a lecture in the classroom. Is it a structured one? Is it an unstructured one? Or different one? That also depends on type of students. So I think these are the things, because you will have to analyze the different costings. Now, what kind of study that you would require? That also you will have to see. Are you teaching the undergraduates? Are you teaching the this is the postgraduate? Are you teaching the researchers? If you take the same method for a researcher, you can start anywhere. But if you are starting this undergraduate, then you will have to be structured. No. So these are only some of the points that I am telling. Now we are sitting in different corners. Higher education one side, the secondary, and then also school primary education. So all these are, this has integrated approach. So because time is limited, because I also the commissioner at one point of the higher education, I know the background of this university and the things. So I have no objections in putting this technology as an intervention, but not only we'll have to think about the cost, but we'll have to think from the viewpoint of the stakeholders, primarily students. With these few words, because we have to go for lunch, thank you very much.
I now have the privilege of inviting Professor Ellen Bhagat, who is Vice Chancellor of Ranchi.
participants. I would like to start with a proposition that if you want to make higher education sustainable, then you will have to think for inclusive education. In fact, a true sustainable way of life requires a combined effort in three broad areas, namely economic growth with equity, conserving natural resources and environment, social development. Since society is the central point around which all economic and non-economic activities revolve, any attempt in social development may lead to sustainable development in true sense of the term. What we find today, if an engineering graduate completes MBA or PhD, he will be able to get 1 crore of rupees per annum package. But on the other hand, a simple graduate are not in they are confronting hardly for getting 2 meals of the day. So under such circumstances, what we have to do? Only ultimate rule is inclusive education. In this context, a new keyword has been evolved and moving for the first time, and AIM System Region Roundtable organized by the Institute of Science and Management, Ranchi, on March 27, 2011. I happen to be the director of that institution during that period. I was instrumental in coining this word. What the word says. It is defined by me for the first time in the world that the voluntary efforts of the educational institutions, of course, inspired by the ethical excellence towards social development through various activities for improving the quality of life without involving any cost to the people at large. It has been accepted and published in a management journal, Siddhant, in Journal of Policy Decisions, Volume 11, issue 3, September 2011. I have tried to demarcate the area or activities that may come within the purview of this newly coined keyword. First, providing excellent education. The prime role of any educational institution is to provide quality education. And it is the only method that distinguishes one university from other or one institution from other. Conducting job-oriented skill development program. There is a need of skill development program. Traditional education has a limited role these days. Any tuition fee waiver scheme, you may, for the core courses, you may give some fee waiver schemes to the students, at least for 5% maximum to the BPL category students. And that will provide an opportunity to compete with the higher income groups students getting the same facility and same result, and they may be in a position to get job in the job market. Next, community development activities. These are all the CSR people are doing. Enhancement of educational standard of underprivileged group, adult education activities, providing employability skills, environmental awareness and ecological conservation, health awareness, health care, and sanitation, adoption of village for holistic development of the villages. What I would like to emphasize here, while doing this community development activity, you must give emphasis on awareness. And not only awareness, on motivation, persuasion, and demonstration. In fact, ill health, illiteracy, and malnutrition and improper sanitation are the root cause of poverty. This will help you in eradicating both rural and urban poverty simultaneously and achieving the goal of long term of sustainable social development. Providing educational assistance to their students belonging to less privileged sections of the society. This may be in the form of a scholarship or any type of assistance you can do for the poor and less privileged sections of their society. Correct response to the educational institutions, to their stakeholders, namely responsibility towards the student. You are solely responsible for the student. You do whatever you want for the sake of the student. It is your responsibility. Responsibility towards their faculties and institutions. Responsibility towards corporate industry and responsibility towards society, nation, and the world. This will help you in making contributing towards close national happiness and also world peace. It will be very simply you can understand this key word educational social responsibility if you distinguish it with the corporate social responsibility CSR. First type of organizations involved in ESR, it is not for profit organizations like educational institutions, state universities, central university, or other universities. Profit-making organizations are involved in CSR. Volume of monetary resources implied. No money, only service in the case of ESR, and use money for CSR. Sources of funding. Mainly other sources, based government, corporates, etc. And for CSR, own money, own source. Area of operation mainly within campus, and in the CSR mainly outside the campus corporate compound. Ethics involved. In ESR, ethical service, quality education, and quality of life are important. In the CSR, ethical business and quality products are important. When I was director of the Institute of Science and Management, where this term has been unanimously resolved and coined and defined, I have made a survey of 100 participants or students benefited from this type of educational social responsibility. 749 students, 749 students have been benefited through a government-sponsored scheme. In that institution, there is a hotel management course. There are 4 trades: food production, food and beverage service, front office, and one more, housekeeping. So, in 1 year's course of certificate course, the students have been trained in one trade only, and they have been employed in 4-star and 5-star hotels throughout India. I have made a documentary film for this, but I could not believe that. So, what I observed through this survey, what the survey results say, that average monthly earning comes to rupees 10,131. Average earning of a minority community. I have included 4 types of community for which this was made. That is ST, SC, OBC, and minority communities. So minority communities have averaged the maximum earning of 12,707 per month, and most benefiting trade is food and beverage service with the average monthly income of 2,265. Percentage of earning saved is 54.47. This is because the hotels are providing working lunch and drinks, etc. That's why the saving rate is very high. Percentage of saving is spent in family care is 71.49. This is important. How they spend their saving? They spend saving 53.5% to the household expenses, means providing good food and medicines to their old parents, and 17.91 on education to siblings, that is the children of their children include brother and sister, and nephew and niece. Average score of academic modern ability. This is also very important. I have made this a score out of 8 modern ability like TV, digital, cooler, refrigerator, home theater, etc. So they are not giving emphasis in spending their saving in these modern amenities, but spending for their family welfare. And second is, I have prepared a 3 activity score for awareness, and that gives 2.26, means they are actively involved. They are actively involved in such activities. Sorry. One thing that reveals that The survey results revealed that the institute had at least started the process of social transformation and attracted the youth for being a part of the mainstream society. Otherwise, these 749 students may have gone outside the mainstream of the society, and third, help social development through ESI activities. Thank you very much.
Well, very clearly there have been three kinds of presentation made here. One were the presentation about some of the innovative practices in terms of the educational programs, the educational offerings, which different institutions, colleges and universities are making to make higher education more relevant and employable. The second sets of presentations were about that technology is important, maybe necessary, but it's just not a sufficient condition. It is no guarantee that it will always and certainly make higher education of excellence. And the third sets of presentations were that what are some of the technological solutions that are available. The time that we had was to finish the session by 1 o'clock. It's just 5 minutes past 1. Unless somebody is very keen on asking questions and willing to sacrifice his lunch for her lunch, so please permit me to conclude this session. So I think at this note we will conclude the sessions. Thank you very much for your participation, and I thank each of the panelists for being so precise and adhering to time, that despite the fact that we started late, we finished in time, just in time. I would finally want to end with a lighter note. You see, for a long time we all said that higher education is about worshipping Saraswati. And Saraswati and Lakshmi do not make abode in the same home. We were also taught and told that if Lakshmi enters from one door, the Saraswati leaves the home from another door. But somehow people realized that no, it was some kind of a conspiracy to keep us away from education. Those who worship Saraswati, they are also the ones who are making most of the Lakshmi. I don't know, but most of the people who are coming to our campuses, so they might be coming to pursue and to do the pursuit of Saraswati, but their ultimate motto in their mind is to access Lakshmi. And my fear is that if they are disappointed in getting that Lakshmi they wanted through the route of Saraswati, they might become Durga and Kali. I think that is the major issue. If 77% of our engineering graduates are unemployed, the unemployability quotient is much higher in the arts and social sciences, in basic sciences. We blame on a variety of things. Technology is offering a solution to making things much more efficient, perhaps also cost effective in the long run. We should all do that, but I think the ultimate focus has to be improving the quality and serving this ultimate objective of higher education. Otherwise, we are in for a very, very troubled time in the future. I would also want, you see, there are solution providers, technology providers, they are offering solutions. There are very strict, tough competition. I think that is the education, information communication technology is a very, very competitive kind of market. So there are all kinds of suppliers, vendors, software developers who are coming to you. I think those who are at the other end, those who have to use that, I think you will have to do a very careful analysis of what you want. Sometimes we find that people develop so much kind of aversity to the people who want to win that they shun their eyes and ears. I think that is not going to serve the purpose. Remember, education all along has been faced with this challenge of technology. Today it's the information communication technology. But remember, first time when we started education, it was the one who knew by heart was communicating only by the natural technology of mouth. There were no written text, there was no communication, so the writing was a technology of that time. Educational institution embraced the publications of the book. That was the technology of that time, and gradually, if you see, many other technologies. The paper was invented, when the printing started, when the writing instruments started, they were all technology. Now we have entered into that 21st century technology. So we cannot be technology averse. What we need to do is that we have to see that to what extent this technology is suitable and serves that ultimate purpose of providing better education. And once you are committed to have that technology, please see that that technology is used by all, the teachers, the students, the employees, and all the stakeholders. There is no point having a smart classroom and using that smart board just as a whiteboard, which is a situation which is happening quite often. I think one message that I would, because I have been vice chancellor of 2 universities, I mean, you see, the educational processes, they have their own requirements and demands. A relationship that begins with quite often this ICT service providers, or particularly the ERP and the e-governance and the MIS provider, that okay, we have a solution to all your problems, and the deal is entered into. And once the relationship begins, then the focus is, I do agree that within the university there are resistance. There might be people who may not be willing to transform. But then, it is also the fact that once the relationship begins, then the focus shifts from that we have solution to all your problems, then the focus shifts to that you change your procedures according to the solution that we have. Now, I cannot go to a doctor saying that I am suffering from a heart disease, and he says that no, first I will treat your knee, and then I will treat your stomach, and then I will treat your eyes, and then I will treat your ears. I mean, all of these are necessary. I know that these are necessary, but my immediate problem is my palpitation is very high. And I came to you, and you promised that you have a solution. So I think both have to come and understand each other. And I think I very sincerely and seriously think that I think this industry also need to develop some ethics. Quite often major initiative fails that you identify the software and then the vendor comes and there are 2-3 vendors who are able to provide you that platform. Through the tendering process, you give contract to one and the other two start making all kinds of allegation. It failed in UGC, it failed in Delhi University, and then the moment you start and somebody starts writing that whatever you are doing, we can provide you free of cost, rather you start using and we will start paying you money, and so on. So I think there has to be some kind of a code of ethics within the industry, and I think some kind of openness within the university system. Sorry if I have been a bit blunt on this issue, but I think without that, things would not happen. I agree with the person who made the presentation by saying that hardly 3 to 4% institutions in India are using ERP and MIS and e-governance while technology is there. Thank you very much.
That was excellent, sir. Thank you so much for making this platform a wonderful area for exchange of such great food for thought. And on this note, I would request you to please come up and help us with the distribution of certificates. I'll request my colleague to assist us with the same. Can we have Dr. Akshay, please? Dr. Paresh Joshi. Akash Jain. Mr. Amit Mahinsaria. Professor Sunena Singh.
Proud privilege included this certificate of
Puneet Kumar. Dr. Rafiqul Zaman. And Mr. L.S. Bhagat. Yeah, may I request Dr. Akshay Agarwal to present the certificate to our session chair?
like the receiving end. Thank you.
I would like to thank our gathering. It's a privilege to have such an august gathering. And may I also request everyone to leave their visiting cards with us. Can everybody please provide us with their visiting cards and before breaking for lunch? We gather at 2 o'clock once again for our next session. Right, it's going to be a, yeah sure, 2 o'clock, once again get together for after lunch.